Hello everybody, this is Refresh and I'm here to bring you a battle between the Innistrad Midnight Hunt Commander decks and the Face the Hydra challenge deck from Theros. We have the Coven counters here and the Undead Unleashed here, and we will be playing two games, first on normal difficulty and then on hard mode. For these games we're going to be using two hero cards. We have the Harvester, which says tap, draw a card, then discard a card, and the Warrior, which says tap, target creature you control gains haste until end of turn. We'll go ahead and get started by drawing our opening hands. Counters draws a Forest, Myriad Landscape, Sigarda's Vanguard, Return to Dust, Curse of Conformity, Verdurous Gearhulk, and Forest. It's not great because I can't cast any of the cards and there's no low drop action here. So I'm inclined to mulligan this unless we can get some kind of ramp or something to do early on. We draw Unbreakable Formation, Arcane Signet, Sigarda Heron's Grace, Growth Spasm, Plains, Forest, and Rider's Gavny. I don't really like having just two lands in my opening hand, but we have the Arcane Signet and ways of getting more land ramped with the Growth Spasm, so I think we can keep this one. Undead draws a Liliana's Mastery, Shadowkin, Lord of the Accursed, Unclaimed Territory, Empty the Laboratory, Feed the Swarm, and Havengull Runebinder. We can't really keep a one-lander, but because this is multiplayer, we get one free mulligan. Now we have a Siphon Flesh, Distant Melody, Swamp, Eater of Hope, Swamp, Forgotten Creation, and Overseer of the Damned. We don't have any early plays, and we only have two swamps, and so this hand could really amount to a whole lot of nothing. So we're going to mulligan again down to 6. Alright, now we have a Diregraph Captain, Sparkkeeper, Swamp, Hordewing Scab, Shadowkin, and a Dimir Aqueduct. This is a little better because we have both of our colors and things to do early. So I think we're just going to take the Hordewing Scab and stick this on the bottom. Because this is multiplayer, we'll be drawing for our opening turns. So Coven draws a Death's Presence and Undead draws an Island. Go ahead and get started by playing our opening lands. We'll play a Forest over here and a Swamp over here. And then we'll end the turn. The Hydra will cast the topmost card, which is a Torn Between Heads. Sorcery, tap up to 2 heads. They don't untap during the Hydra's next turn. Torn Between Heads deals 5 damage to each player. Tap these two. We'll take 5 from Torn Between Heads, and at the end of the turn we'll also take 1 more from the Hydra head, taking us both down to 34. At the end of the turn we'll use the Harvester. Counters draws a Plains, and we will discard Death's Presence because it's probably a little too slow. Undead draws a Soul Ring. We're absolutely going to keep that, and we're probably going to discard the Dimir Aqueduct because it's also too slow. Counters draws a Shamanic Revelation. Undead draws a Commander Sphere. We're going to play an Island over here. We'll play a Plains over here. These two will tap and we'll cast the Arcane Signet over here. This is an artifact that says tap, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Over here we're going to choose to play a 3-drop, and I think it's going to be the Sparkkeeper because we don't have the right combination of mana right now to cast a Diregraph Captain. So we have to tap the Island to cast the Soul Ring. The Soul Ring is an artifact you can tap for 2 generic mana. Tap the Swamp and the Soul Ring for 3 mana, and then we'll cast the Sparkkeeper. The Sparkkeeper is a 2/3 zombie with 3 sacrifice creature or planeswalker. You gain 1 life and draw a card. And that is all we have to do right now. We can't defeat any of the heads just yet, so we will end our turn and go to the Hydra's turn. These two don't untap. We draw and cast a Disorienting Glower. Players can't cast spells until the Hydra's next turn. That's going to be a problem for us. We'll put that right here so that we remember that we can't cast spells. We'll take 1 damage from the head to go down to 33 each. At the end of the turn we'll use the Harvester. Counters draws a Plains, and we will discard the Unbreakable Formation. Undead draws a Curse of the Relentless Dead, and we will immediately discard that. Counters draws a Celebrate the Harvest. Undead draws a Talisman of Dominance. Cannot cast any more spells, but we'll play a Plains here, and we'll play a Swamp here. We don't have any abilities we can cast either, but I guess the Shadowkin can appear on flash on their turn, so that's something. And since we can't defeat a Hydra, we're just going to have to untap and see what they have next. The Hydra casts Groan for the Stump. Put exactly 2 cards named Hydra Head onto the battlefield from the Hydra's graveyard. If you can't reveal the cards from the top of the Hydra's library until you reveal a head card, put that card onto the battlefield and the rest into the Hydra's graveyard. So we're going to reveal some cards now. We have a Shrieking Titan head. This is a 0/8 elite head. At the beginning of the Hydra's end step, each player discards a card, and when it leaves the battlefield, each player gains 4 life and draws a card. We're going to go to their end step, and that's going to trigger 5 damage, taking us down to 28. We will also be forced to discard a card each, so we'll discard the Shamanic Revelation here, and the Commander's Sphere here. At the end of the turn, we'll also spend 4 mana here, and cast Shadowkin. This is a 2/2 shapeshifter with flash. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player mills 3 cards. You may exile a creature card from among the cards milled this way. If you do, Shadowkin becomes a copy of that card, except it has this ability. Then we'll use the Harvester. Counters draws a forest, and we are going to discard the Plains. Undead draws an island, and we will discard the Talisman of Dominance. Don't tap. Counters draws a forest. Undead draws an unclaimed territory. Coven will play a forest. We'll tap 5 and cast Sigarda, Heron's Grace. This is a 4/5 legendary angel with flying, and you and humans you control have hexproof. You can pay 2 to exile a card from your graveyard to create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Undead will play the Unclaimed Territory. It's a land. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. You can tap for colorless or tap to add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana to cast a creature spell of the chosen type. We're going to choose Zombie. And then we are going to tap 3 mana. Cast the Diregraph Captain. This is a 2/2 zombie soldier with Death Touch. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. And whenever a zombie you control dies, target opponent loses 1 life. We also should have milled at the beginning of each turn. There's a Ravenous Broodhead in the Hydra's graveyard. No creatures in Coven counters. There is a Eloise Nephalia Sleuth and an Undead Alchemist in the graveyard here. We will copy the Undead Alchemist. This is a 4/2 zombie. If a zombie you control would deal combat damage to a player, instead that player mills that many cards. Whenever a creature is put into an opponent's graveyard from their library, exile the card and create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. We're going to tap the warrior to give these creatures haste, and then we're going to go attacking. The Sigarda will attack into one of the Hydra heads. The 3 zombies are going to attack into the Shrieking Titan head. Sigarda will defeat the Hydra head. We'll gain 2 life each to go back up to 30 each. We'll mill 2 cards to see if there are any new heads. The new heads. These 3 have a replacement effect from the Undead Alchemist. So instead of doing their normal damage, they will mill 10 cards. There are 4 heads that were milled this way. These are creatures, so they're going to be exiled. And then as they are exiled, we're going to get 4 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. And then we will pass to the Hydra. The Hydra will cast Groan from the Stump. There is only 1 Hydra head in the graveyard, and so we're going to reveal to look for another head. 1 Hydra head. And then we're going to be taking another 5 damage plus discard a card. We'll go down to 25. Undead will discard the island. Counters will discard the forest. We'll skip the Harvester for now. Untap. We hit a Hydra head over here. We hit the Orzhov Advocist and the Juniper Order Ranger here. And over here we hit We'll choose the Havengall Rune Binder, making the Shadowkin a 2/2 human wizard for 2 and a blue. Exile a creature card from your graveyard, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, and then put a +1/+1 counter on each zombie creature you control. Counters draws a Sigardian Zealot. Undead draws an Open the Graves. I think we can take out everything pretty easily here. We'll just use the Havengall Runebinder's ability here. And we'll exile Eloise, Nephalia Sleuth. We'll get another zombie, and then we'll put a counter on every zombie that we control. These zombies also have Death Touch, so we're just going to send in the tokens to decimate the Hydra. This will defeat all of the Hydra, giving us 10 life and 1 card each. But first we'll reveal 8 cards to see if there are any new heads. 1 Hydra head. We'll go back up to 35 each. Counters draws a Forest. Undead draws a Hour of Eternity. Counters will play the Forest. Go ahead and tap 5 mana. And play the Sigardian Zealot. This is a 3/3 human cleric. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose any number of creatures with different powers. Each of them gets +X/+X engaged vigilance until end of turn, where X is Sigardian Zealot's power. Doesn't really matter right now. And then we will pass the turn to the Hydra. Hydra casts Distract the Hydra. Each player may sacrifice a creature. Each player who sacrifices a creature this way chooses the head and taps it. Each player who didn't loses 3 life. Yeah, it's fine to lose a life since we are very much ahead right now. And so we will take a total of 4 each, going down to 31. Although I wonder if Sigarda makes it so that we can't get damaged by the Hydras because we can't be the target of the Hydra's attack, and they are doing damage to us. So it might be that Coven counters should not have taken the last 6 damage because of the Hydra's attack plus this current Hydra. So let's go ahead and give ourselves 6 more life to go back up to 37. And then at the end of the turn, we'll use the Harvester. Counters draws a Citadel Siege, and we will discard the Growth Spasm. Undead draws an Army of the Damned, and then we will discard the Army of the Damned. Right, we'll mill. No creatures here. No creatures here. Lord of the Accursed here. Yeah, let's have it turn into the Lord of the Curse. This is a 2/3 zombie. Other zombies you control get +1/+1, and for 1 in black, tap all zombies gain menace until end of turn. This doesn't really matter because I think we have this game on lock. We'll just swing with a single zombie. Defeat the Hydra. We'll reveal 2 cards to see if there are any new heads. 1 new head. We'll gain 2 life apiece to go up to 39 and 33. We'll spend 5 mana here to go ahead and cast the Open the Graves. This is an enchantment. It says whenever a non-token creature control dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Tap 4 here. Cast our commander, Lenore Autumn Sovereign. This is a 0/4 legendary creature with human noble. At the beginning of combat on your turn, get a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target per creature you control. Then if you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, draw a card. We'll go ahead and say that we did this before the attack because it doesn't really change much. So we'll put the counter on Sigarda, and then we'll draw a card, which is the Tristani Summoner. And then from here, I think we can just pass the turn. The Hydra casts Noxious Hydra Breath, which says choose 1, it deals 5 damage to each player or destroy each tapped non-head creature. I think we totally destroy the 1 tapped creature because it's almost inconsequential at this point. And then this wasn't not tapped, so we'll re-tap it to draw and loot. We draw an Audric Master Tactician here. I don't think the Master Tactician really matters for this particular one, so we'll put that in the graveyard. Undead draws a Swamp, and we will discard the Hour of Eternity. We'll mill. We hit a Savage Vigor head here. Nothing here. We hit Giza and Geralf right here. And a Prowling Geist Catcher here. Yeah, we can do Giza and Geralf. This is a 4/4 legendary human wizard. And when it enters the battlefield, mill 4 cards. And during each of your turns, you may cast a zombie creature spell from your graveyard. So we will cast a zombie from here. Now we draw. Counters draws a Cassie Cagebreakers and Undead draws a swamp. Play the swamp. We'll play Casting Cage Breakers over here for 5. It's a 3/4 human rogue. Whenever it attacks, create a 2/2 green wolf creature token that's tapped and attacking for each creature card in your graveyard. Then we'll spend 4 mana to cast the Undead Alchemist using the Geyser and Giraffe ability attached to the Shadowkin. We'll give the new creatures haste. We'll trigger Lenore by putting a counter on the Guardian Zealot. And then we'll go to combat. We'll swing everything because it has Vigilance and +X here at the Hydra head. That's going to absolutely kill it. And now the Undead Alchemist is going to make all of these mill instead. So we're going to swing everything else at the head to redirect the damage. So we're going to trigger the mill first for 27 damage. 19 cards left, so the deck has been milled out. There are 5 heads in here, so they could be exiled and we get a bunch of zombies. But that doesn't matter because these will finish off the Hydra head, and the Midnight Hunt commander decks will defeat the Hydra on normal difficulty with no problems. We'll be right back for hard mode. It's time for hard mode. We have 4 Hydra heads assembled, and we will begin by drawing as usual. Counters draws a Plains, a Depth's Presence, Selesnya Sanctuary, Kyler, Sigardian Emissary, Forest, Unbreakable Formation, and Path of Ancestry. This is a little too slow to keep. We don't have any ramp, and we don't have any early plays, and I think we need one of those for this hand to work. So we're going to mulligan. Now we have a Growth Spasm, Plains, Beast Within, Sigardian Zealot, Swords of Plowshares, Blighted Woodland, and Plains. This is not amazing, but I guess we have the Growth Spasm as ramp, so we will keep this. Undead draws a Go for the Throat, Swamp, Arcane Signet, Endless Strength of the Dead, Eater of Hope, Curse of the Restless Dead, and a Swamp. Wouldn't keep a 2-lander normally, especially with so little to do. But because of the Arcane Signet to get the second color, I think we can keep this one and just hope that we can loot it to better hands. So go ahead and get started by playing a Plains over here and a Swamp over here. The Horde will cast a Nectangle sorcery. If there are 5 or more heads on the battlefield, tap 2 of them, but they don't untap during the Hydra's next untap step. Otherwise, reveal the top card of the Hydra's library and the Hydra casts that card. We're going to reveal Hydra head. Then we have 5 Hydra heads. We'll take 5 damage each to go down to 35. Then we'll use the Harvester before the end of the turn. Counters draws a Rider's Gavany, and we will discard the Beast Within. Undead draws a Liliana's Devotee, and we will discard the Eater of Hope. Counters draws a Forest. Undead draws a Dark Salvation. We'll play the second Swamp here, tap both of these to play an Arcane Signet. We'll play a Forest over here, and just hang on for another turn, because we don't really have anything else to do on this side. The Hydra casts Distract the Hydra. We have nothing to sacrifice, so we're going to be taking 5 damage plus another 3 loss of life for 8, taking us down to 27 each. At the end of the turn, we'll use the Harvester. Counters draws a Forest. We're going to discard the Blighted Woodland. Undead draws an Island, and we're going to discard the Dark Salvation. Counters draws a Wall of Mourning, and Undead draws a Commander's Sphere. We'll play the Island over here. We'll play another Plains over here. I think we just tap out and cast our commander, Will Halt the Rock Cleaver. This is a 3/3 legendary zombie warrior. Whenever another zombie you control dies, if it didn't have Decayed, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token with Decayed. And then at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a zombie if you do draw a card. Over here, we're going to tap 3, and we will cast the Growth Spasm. This sorcery, search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle, and create a 1/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token. It has sacrifice this creature, add colorless. We'll put the plane on the battlefield. There's our Eldrazi spawn, and then we'll use the warrior to give Will Halt haste. We'll swing at one of the Hydra heads, defeating it. Reveal 2 cards to see if there are any new heads. Then we will gain 2 life apiece to go back up to 29. We'll pass the turn to the Hydra. They cast a Shrieking Titan head. It's the end of the turn, so each of us is going to take 6 damage, taking us down to 23. We will each discard a card. Counters will discard the Wall of Mourning. Undead will discard the Commander Sphere. We'll use the Harvester. Counters draws a Talisman of Unity. We'll discard the Talisman. Undead draws a Mortuary Mire. And I don't think we need that either. We'll pass. Counters draws a Celestial Judgment. Undead draws an Aether Spouts. Play the Forest over here. Actually, before we play the Forest, we're going to tap 3 mana here and cast Curse of the Reckless Dead. This is an enchantment or a curse. Enchant player, whenever land enters the battlefield under enchant player's control, you create a 2/2 black zombie token creature with Decayed. Go ahead and put that on counters. Then we'll play the Forest, so they'll get a Decayed zombie. And then over here, we're going to tap 4 mana and cast Riders of Gavany. This is a 3/3 human knight with vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Human creatures you control have protection from creatures of the chosen type. We'll choose head, although this protection thing isn't going to matter at all. And then we will also spend 1 mana to cast Swords to Plowshares, targeting the Shrieking Titan head. This is an instant that says exile target creature. Its controller gains life equal to its power. It has no power, gains no life. And we are going to gain 4 life apiece to go back up to 27. We're going to reveal 2 cards. No new heads. We will also draw a card. Each counters draws a Death's Presence, and Undead draws an Undead Alchemist. Can't really do much else. We'll use the Warrior to give the Riders Gavany haste, and we'll swing at 2 of the Hydra heads. We'll reveal 4 cards to see if there are any new heads. No new heads. And then we will pass to the Hydra. At the end of the turn, we'll crack this zombie using Wilhelm's ability, and we'll draw a Spark Reaper. The Hydra will cast Torn Between Heads. They're going to tap. We'll both take 5 damage to go down to 22. And then we'll use the Harvester. Counters draws a Forest, and we will discard the Celestial Judgment. Undead draws a Swamp, and we are going to discard the Aether Spouts. Counters draws a Forest. Undead draws a Liliana's Mastery. We'll play a Swamp over here and a Forest over here. That'll get us another Decayed Zombie. We'll spend 3 mana and cast Liliana's Devotee over here. This is a 2/3 human warlock. Zombies you control get +1/+0 at the beginning of your end step. If a creature died this turn, you may pay 1 in a black. If you do, create a 2/2 zombie creature token. And then over here, we'll spend 5 mana and cast the Sigardian Zealot again. We'll go to combat and we'll swing with these 2, because the Zealot can give them vigilance and +3/+3. And that should be enough to defeat both of these Hydras. We'll reveal 4 cards. We have 1 Hydra head. We'll gain 4 life apiece to go up to 26. It is the end of the turn, and so we'll pay black and blue and get a zombie. And then we'll go to the Hydra. The Hydra casts Noxious Hydra Breath. We'll choose to destroy each tapped non-head creature, which is nothing. And then we will take 1 each to go to 25. We'll use a Harvester. Counters draws a Sigarda. We'll discard the Forest. Undead draws a Swamp. We're going to discard the Swamp. Coven draws a Somberwolf Beastmaster. Undead draws a Prowling Geistcatcher. I think we'll tap 5 here to cast the Liliana's Mastery. This is an enchantment. Zombies you control get +1/+1. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 black zombie creature tokens. There we go. And then we'll spend 5 here. Cast Sigarda again. We'll give Sigarda haste But we don't really need to attack because we're just going to swing with a Vigilant Sigardian Zealot to defeat the head. We get a Ravenous Broodhead. This is a 0/6 elite head, and when it leaves the battlefield, each player gains 2 life and draws a card. We gain 2 life to go up to 27 each. And then we will pass to the Hydra. Hydra draws strike the weak spot, destroy target head. If that head was elite, it takes an extra turn after this one. We are going to destroy this. We're going to reveal 2 cards. There are no heads, so even if there were to be an extra turn, the Hydra has defeated itself, actually. And so on hard mode, the decks are sitting even prettier. Let me know what you thought about the games in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you'd like to see more of my videos, you can subscribe. This was Refresh. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.